the power of blockchain technology. That's the power of cryptocurrency. That's the power of MLM. That's what it can do for you. It can change your life so instantly that it feels like it's a dream and you're about to wake up from that dream. But it will shock you because the dream keeps on going for days, for weeks, for months, until you realize that no, I'm not dreaming. I'm actually living my dream. Wow. Your last words, Dizzy?
Take a chance on yourself. Trust yourself. If you see an opportunity, take it. And you know what? This is the best time on earth right now.
That's the power of...
Welcome back. We are here with a bang. Welcome back, Empire Crypto TV. Welcome back. It's a Wednesday evening. Welcome back, everyone. We are here today with TheLion. We are here with an exciting episode. We are here with great news, with great strategies. So, yes, stay with us, guys. Stay with us. I'm telling you, today is another day. Today is something else. You have never seen this in your life. Today is going to be splendid. All right. Welcome back, everyone. What you just have to do, please invite your friends. Just click that button. Invite all your neighbors, invite your friends, invite your community. Share this live broadcast to everyone. Guys, let's bring everyone to this live broadcast. Let's bring everyone to the show. Let's make things happen. Let's make this an exciting show. And as you are coming through, guys, do say something on the comment section. Do mention your area, your city, where you're watching this live broadcast from. Let's make it happen. I do not want you guys to miss this one. Never in a million shall you miss this one. Never in a million shall your neighbor or your friend, your team members, your colleagues miss this live broadcast. So let's make it happen. All right, great stuff. I see. Welcome, DJ Deep, listening, bro. Great stuff. Welcome, everyone, guys. Do say something on the comment section. Do greet us. We are about to start. We are about to start, guys. We are about to start the show. Please invite everyone. Wow, we are back, guys. We are back. We are about to start. We are back. And of course, do say something on the comment section. I am watching from Tuhela. All right, great stuff. Welcome all the way from KZN. Pinville, Soweto. Welcome to the show. Hebani, welcome, Humutso. Great stuff. Welcome, guys. We are about to start. Please share this live broadcast to everyone. Let's get started, guys. Do not miss this broadcast. You're going to get strategies, how to make your first million, how to make your money, how to make this year 2022. There's still so much time, guys. There's still so much that you can do in 2022. Do say something on the comment section. Let us know where you watch this live broadcast from. And guys, today, our guest for tonight is none other than the person that I've known for some time. I've seen his work online. I've seen what he has been doing. And everything that he has been doing, everything that he has been touching, it has turned into gold. No, it has turned into diamond. So let's hear from him. He's here with us to tell us what strategies he has used, what strategies he's using to make the bags. So let's invite everyone, guys, and let's sit there and listen. Let's learn. Let him educate us. All right, I'll be introducing to you guys our guest for tonight, TheLion, Thulani Maphiliba. How's it,
Hey,
my man?
champion. I'm good, man, and I must say I'm excited. I've been waiting for this moment. It's kept me awake. Even throughout the day today, I've been busy, but my mind have been stuck on this moment today because every time where I'm given an opportunity and a platform, to share my experiences, to show another Black child, to show another African, to show anybody that wants to change and transform their lives, how it's done. I always love that moment. So I'm grateful, man. Thank you to the Crypto King, Mr. Elsin Mabena. Thank you so much, champ.
It's been long coming. I remember we wanted to have you on the show some time ago last year, but you were so busy. Was it because you were always in Dubai, or what was it the problem? What was the problem?
I think one of the things that we all know about the lion is that when you look at the characteristics of a lion, the lion doesn't just pounce on its prey. It waits for the right moment, the right time, and it will look around, and when it feels that, okay, that's what I'm going for, and it pounces on that immediately. So I think for me as well, it was all about timing. I think I waited for the right time. I waited for the right moment. I could have come to the show a couple of months ago, since from when you guys have been inviting me rather, but I've always felt it was not yet the right time for me. And at this moment, right here, right now, I feel this is the right moment.
Christoph, welcome to Empire Crypto TV. All right. Tell us your background. When did you start in the crypto space? Or just start telling us about yourself. There are people here who might not have heard of you, who might have not seen you. Just introduce yourself and let us know when you started also in the crypto space.
Well, awesome. I am Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion, as I always introduce myself. And why TheLion is because I'm always inspired and motivated by the characteristics of a lion. It's what drives me every day. I study the lion. I look at what it does, how it hunts, how it lives, how it survives, and from the moment I adopted the characteristics of a lion, that's actually, I can say that's when I started winning. So that's who I am. I am Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion. And for me, the cryptocurrency space, or I can say the network marketing rather, started back in 2012. Yet at that time, I was not fully into the network marketing business because I was still in the corporate world, right? But I remember during those days, I was working for a particular company that I'm not able to name at the moment. And what happened is during our tea break, I would go to Mark and Bean, and I would sit there and enjoy my tea. And I used to be inspired by this one person. He was quite a grown man, old man, if I can put it like that, a white old man, and every day I would see this guy there sitting there. He would open his MacBook for some time, and from there he closes, he enjoys his coffee. And every time when this guy comes there, either he's driving a Lamborghini or he's driving a Ferrari. And I said to myself, I'm working so hard every day, and like many other people are doing, yet I do not have the lifestyle that this man has. I do not get to enjoy the benefits that this man is enjoying. And it seems like I'm working harder than him, And one particular morning, I had guts to actually go to him, and I said to him, look, I don't mean to disturb you or whatever, but I see you almost every time I come here, for my coffee break. And I've noticed that you are driving more than one supercar. And it seems like, most of the time you are on your shorts, you know, on your casual clothing, you know, you never looked formal, yet your lifestyle is super expensive from what I see. How are you doing it? You know, because I have a dream and I have a desire to be somebody in life, and that's what I'm pushing towards. And he said to me, I'm not going to say a lot to you, but find a business that you can do online, and your life will never be the same again. And then he said to me, do you mind if I can go back to my coffee? And that was it. And it confused me at the time, because at that time I knew nothing about online business, network marketing, forex trading. I knew completely nothing. I was all about the corporate, so on and so forth, 9 to 5, you know. And I stopped then using my time going to, you know, have my coffee at Mark and Bean, and then I started making research during my coffee break. You know, how can I make a fortune, or how can I be successful through the online business? You know, and that was the time back in 2000. That was now in 2013. That is now when I was introduced to forex trading, network marketing business, you know, so on and so forth. And then I started making my research around that, and I can say that is how my journey began.
What a journey. What a journey. All right. So someone inspired you, someone who was already on the journey. You saw something happening. That's what I always say. It's a positive jealous. You know, you ought to have
Yeah,
positive jealous, where you
definitely.
look at someone doing something good and you say, I just want to be like that person. When you see someone driving a nice car and you like, wow, one day I'll drive that car. When you see someone working a nice job, you know, relaxed, not having any pressure, and you like, how can I make sure that, how can I make sure that I become like this person?
True, true.
Wow. Mm, that's great. Right. And then how did you get involved in the crypto space? Who introduced you to crypto?
Honestly speaking, I introduced myself. I introduced myself. And apart from me being inspired by that old man that I always used to see, you know, that was already living the lifestyle, right? Another thing that motivated me, I looked at my life, you know, everything about my life was debt. You know, where I was living was a debt. The car I was driving was a debt. The clothes that I used to wear, everything was on credit. And I said to myself, my greatest desire is financial freedom. You know, I want to see myself outside, or living outside of the system which has captured each and every one of us. You know, I wanted to live a debt-free lifestyle. You know, I wanted to own my time, you know, because I always said, if this is how I'm going to continue, then what am I going to leave behind for my kids? What am I going to leave behind for the people that I love? You know, if already I'm sinking in debt. So I need to find a way out of this life, miserable life rather, that I'm already living, whereby everything is debt. You know, you buy clothes, it's on debt. You buy food, is on debt, on credit. You drive a car, is on installment. You live in a house, you're paying bond, you know. So for me, I wanted total freedom. And I wanted to own my time. I wanted to do with my time what I want to do and when I wanted to do it. So I'm not going to lie to you, Crypto King. I introduced myself in this industry by doing my research, by trying to find ways on how I can escape from the system, on how I can live a debt-free lifestyle, on how I can own a paid-off house, own a couple of paid-off cars, you know, and everything that I wanted to have, and also be able to build a legacy and leave something for my children, leave something for my kids, you know. So yeah, it was Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion, that introduced himself to this industry. But of course, there are people that I started looking up to, you know, and then I started making those calls. I started sending those emails. I started sending those messages, of which a lot of them was rejected. But because of my why was great, I never gave up. You know, I kept on calling. I kept on sending those WhatsApps, those messages, those emails, until eventually somebody responded. and then I was a part of the industry, and then it began.
All right. And whilst you were still young, at your young age, at what point did you really check yourself and say, I'll be a millionaire, I'll be a multimillionaire. In fact, I'll be a billionaire. At what stage in your life did you have that dream? Did you know from the beginning that life will turn out this way?
Look, Mr. Mapena, everybody is born with that. It doesn't come at some point in life. You are born with your dreams. You are born with everything that you know you're gonna be in life. It's just that unfortunately, as we grow, we lose that vision. We lose those goals. We get discouraged. We get demotivated, and then we give up. So for me, it's not something that caught me along the years as I was growing up. No, it's something that I was born with, you know. And I love the picture that you just put up now, because of this reminds me that I always knew that we might be living in the shack, we might be living at this area, you know, but I knew always within me that there's greatness inside of me. I always knew that I was born to be great. So I've never allowed myself, no matter what I've went through in life. Of course, life has never been easy for me growing up. I mean, I think the picture there says it all, you know. But one thing that I'm grateful for is that I always knew, Thulani Maphiliba, you belong somewhere. Thulani Maphiliba, there's greatness inside of you. There's a lion inside of you. There's a beast inside of you, you know. And for that reason, you end up being misunderstood by a lot of people, sometimes even by your own family, you know. I don't know how many times I've been told that I'm over ambitious, I dream too much, you know, but I never allowed all those voices to discourage me from believing that I am the best, from believing that there's greatness inside of me. I've never allowed those voices to discourage me from where I think or I believe I belong. You know, so I've always believed that I am, and you said, for me, I've always believed that I am a billionaire, that I am a millionaire, even before everything manifested in the physical realm. Spiritually, I've always been a millionaire. The people that knew me from when I was a boy, they can tell you I've always walked like one, and I've always spoke like one, you know. And if you are like that, you'll be misunderstood by a lot of people. And that is how a lot of us end up losing that, end up giving up on that, because we're trying to fit in, we're trying to impress, we're trying to please everybody, you know, because in this world, a young man, especially a black young man, is not allowed to dream. So I've never allowed anybody to steal my dream, no matter how bad, you know, things were for me growing up. I've always believed that I belong somewhere.
Christopher, we are live via Temper Crypto TV. We are with our guest here. TheLion himself is here to share with us some secrets to take you from zero to hero. So yes, stay with us. Please do share this live broadcast to all your friends so that we get all this information, all this powerful information. Do not go away. We are still here.
She just got up, so we went out. I was asleep. I just sent the driver. We did some shopping yesterday. We went out some food. And then we were driving back. Sir Isis I love a foot massage anyway. It was down the road, and strangely enough, it must have been like 6 or 7 people in the room. Anyway, we walked in there, realised very quickly it wasn't just.
You are a great network marketer. Tell us more about that and the power of networking throughout the world. And why is network marketing not so big in Africa, in South Africa?
Okay. Firstly, I'm humbled by your words. When you say I'm a great networker, and I think for me, let's go back to how it started again. You know, for me, when I looked for how I can transform and change my life, I also didn't just look for how I can make it to financial freedom, but I looked for a business that can benefit Thulani Maphiliba, the Lion, but also I wanted to bring everybody with me. Right. Because I've always been a philanthropist. I've always wanted to add value into people's lives. I've always wanted to make a difference, so me looking for opportunities whereby not only I benefit, but even the next person does benefit as well. That's what has been driving me, since I began in this industry. So I think, being people-minded, prioritizing people, making sure that the next person is winning, making sure that the next life is transformed. That's what got me to where I am today. But I'm not going to lie to you, Mr. Mapena. That comes with a whole lot of challenges. At some point, like I've already mentioned, you will end up being misunderstood. You will end up being misinterpreted. But if you are consistent in your character, if you are consistent in what you stand for, if you are all about the people, eventually that truth will begin to penetrate people's hearts. That truth will begin to penetrate people's minds. That's why today there are a lot of people in Africa that becomes a part of a particular business, not because they trust that business, but because they trust Thulani Maphiliba, the Lion. Right? Because they've seen what he stands for. I'm all about the people. They've seen that. That's why since I've begun this journey, I've never even had one event whereby I was celebrated, whereby people were clapping for me. It was all about me. No, but I've always been a part of events whereby I'm celebrating my partners. We are uplifting this one, we're celebrating this one, we're clapping for this one, because I've never wanted to be on the limelight or in the forefront, because one thing that has always motivated me from a young age is it's the type of leadership that I have embraced. You can put yourself in a position whereby people push you to the top, or you can do it vice versa, whereby you put yourself under a group of people and you push them to the top. Now, what happens when you push everybody to the top? Eventually, you yourself get to the top, so that's what has always inspired me. If you can make it about the other person, if you can prioritize the other person, if you can get other people, 5, 3, 4, whatever number of people to be millionaires, where does that put you? Automatically, you are a millionaire yourself. So that's where a lot of people make a mistake. It becomes me, me, me. And that's the greatest mistake that also a whole lot of networkers are making. If everything becomes about you, you are bound to lose. I'm telling you, I promise you right now. But if you can prioritize other people, if you can focus on developing your team, building your team, motivating your team, not just your team, but everybody out there, eventually life itself will reward you for your good works. So I think that's how I got to be who I am today. I'm never about myself. Everybody that knows know that. Thulani Maphiliba, the Lion, is all about changing somebody else's life. As I change that life, my life automatically changes.
In the crypto space and network marketing is not a smooth road. I'll be lying if I say everything is just smooth. There are some ups and downs until you sharpen your skill, until you sharpen your journey. What has it been to you? What was your biggest loss that you encountered in this journey?
At the end of the day, everything about life is risky. The chair that you are sitting on, like as we speak now, you had to sit there by faith, with the hope that that chair won't collapse and break your back. The moment you get into your car with the hope that you won't be involved in a road accident and not make it to your destination. So with me, that's what I've embraced. Everything in life is risky. And if you are a person that is extra careful, always careful, you'll never go anywhere. You'll always sit in your house being paranoid, thinking everybody or life itself is out to get you. The most business people that we know today are the huge or the biggest risk takers. Name one business person, anyone that you know. There's no successful business person today that is not a risk taker. And as the saying goes, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. But again, vice versa, the bigger the risk, the bigger the fall, you know. But it's up to you. Are you going to be that person that is always skeptical? Are you going to be the person that always never want to take risk? You know, always questions everything that comes your way? Then definitely you're not going to do anything. You're not going to go out from your house, because you'll always think, what if I go out and then they rob me off my phone, they rob me off my clothes? But if you're going to be successful in life, if you're going to make it in this lifetime, you should always put yourself in a position of taking risk just by putting your money alone in the bank. Let me say this. Did you know, King, that every time or whenever you open an account with any bank anywhere in the world, do you see those pile of papers that we're signing? They say, put your initial here. A lot of people never read those things.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you this.
98% never read.
In those documents, what the bank is saying to you and to me, they are saying there is a high risk of you losing your money with us. And in the event of you losing your money, we can never be held responsible. Do you agree? And we just put our initial, yes, I agree. That initial says, yes, I agree. So that's why if any bank in South Africa collapses with your 1 million inside right now, there's nothing you can do. You cannot open a case against them. You cannot sue them. There's nothing you can do. Why? Because you have signed a document that says, I am aware that I'm entering into a financial agreement that has high risk within itself, right? So anything that involves money, I'm not going to lie to anybody, anything that involves money comes with high risk. The question is, how big is your appetite? Now, as for me, my appetite has always been massive because of I want everything great. I want everything big. By the time I leave this world, I want to have left the biggest legacy than any of my ancestors have done before. And I'm grateful that they are there for me. But I want to leave the greatest legacy than any of my people have done before, you know, and that means I need to take the risk that no one in my family was ever willing to take, you know, none of my friends was ever willing to take. And that's how I am where I am today. It's all about, life is all about taking risk. And if you are too careful, you'll never go anywhere, like I said. And then last but not least, let me tell you this. Let's talk about maybe your 5K. You have an opportunity, you know, to risk with your 5,000. And you say, no, you know what? I'm going to keep my money. I don't want to lose my money. At the end of the day, you're going to use that money one way or the other, whether on clothes, whether on food. And at some point, those clothes are going to decay. At some point, that food is going to run out from your house. But should you have used those funds to take risk in one particular business or platform, there is an opportunity that that money that you have put into that platform, that system, or that opportunity will then begin to give you passive or continuous income, right? So it's your choice. Are you going to use that money to buy clothes and impress your friends, or buy food and eat nice, or you're going to use those funds to take risk that has a potential to give you financial freedom? It's all about choices.
TheLion, what's the relationship between cryptocurrency market and the network marketing? Can you take us through there, please?
Okay, interesting question. The network marketing industry in itself is a very broad subject, meaning any company can decide that they're going to embark on the network marketing business, whether it's a product-based company, whether it's service-based company, whether it's crypto or blockchain-based company. Any company that sees it fit to venture into the MLM space, they can do that. Now, how can I define the network marketing space? Instead of using money in promoting your product, through secular media like radio or TV, the company then decides that we're gonna invite people to promote our product, and the money that could have been used on secular media like TV and radio, then that money would rather go as a form of reward to the people that are promoting our product and our business, and as they grow, they begin to build their name, in the network marketing business. So that's what also happened where crypto is concerned. Let's look at Bitcoin alone, as one of the mother of all cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is not a network marketing business, but there are companies that are into blockchain and cryptocurrency space that decided that the fastest way for us to introduce our product into the world is by going through the affiliate program. What is the affiliate program? We introduce the business to Thulani Maphiliba and we tell him what we are all about. And then we also give him an opportunity and say to him, Thulani, if you take this product, our product or crypto, and introduced our coin into your friends, your business partners, if they buy into our service or our product, we will then reward you every time somebody does that. So that is the fastest way right now of growing any company, of growing any business, rather than taking it to secular media like TV and radio. So that is how, or that is why we have the network marketing business, where you have product-based company, the network marketing business where you have crypto and blockchain technology-based companies, and why I love this is that you have people that believe in the product-based companies, and they do quite well in that. Why? Because one of the advantages, let me put it this way, one of the advantages of the product-based companies is that immediately when you become a part of that program, you instantly get value for your money, because when you become a part of that business, you then get products in return that you can use, but you are also plugged into a system that when you promote those products, you then get paid for advertising or for telling the next person about the benefits of those products, right? While on the crypto space, there's not necessarily any physical product, but you will get that we have services like blockchain technology education, cryptocurrency education, which is quite valuable in itself, right? Because that's where the future, that's where we are all going right now. Everybody, we are going into, whether we like it or not, that's where we're going. Cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. Now we are introduced into the metaverse, so we are all going there. So with crypto and cryptocurrency and blockchain-based companies, you get crypto education, you get blockchain technology-based education, and not only that, but you also get crypto. You also get digital assets like cryptocurrencies that you can keep, or that you can sell in exchange for fiat currency.
Great stuff. Tell us about the power of association. I've seen you with the great guys in this space, great people in this space. What's the power behind associating yourself with such great minds?
Always be a student. Never allow yourself to come to a point where you feel like you are a god. Never allow yourself to come to a space where you feel like you know everything, right? Allow yourself to be in the space where you learn from other people. I've seen a lot of good people. I've seen a lot of good people collapsing. I've seen a lot of people losing their integrity because they've allowed themselves to feel like, I don't need you guys. I can make it on my own. I am everything on my own, right? The moment you embrace that mentality, that is the beginning of your downfall. But if you allow yourself to remain a student for the rest of your life, not only with great names or great people, but even with your peers, learn from them. The reason why I always associate myself with different kinds of people is because I know, Mr. Mapena, that I cannot do everything. I do not have all the skills. I do not have all the talents, and that is why when I build a team, I don't just build a team randomly, but I intentionally look for the people that have the skills and the talents that I do not have. That's one of the things that makes Thulani Maphiliba a great success, is because I embrace and I cultivate skills and talents that I do not have. So those will always be the benefits of you positioning yourself in a way that you mingle with great names, with other people in the network marketing business, where you learn from them, because you cannot have or you cannot be everything. You need other people. That is why in Africa, we have a saying, umuntu ngabantu. Secondly, izandla ziyagezana. That's why we have two hands. Imagine you had one hand. It will be a challenge, to wash this hand. But if you have two hands, then you are able to do that. And according to the Bible says iron sharpens iron. You cannot use plastic to sharpen iron. You need another iron to sharpen the iron that needs to be sharpened. So always remain a student and allow yourself to learn from people that are good at what you are not good at.
Great stuff, Empire Crypto TV. We are live here. We are live here this evening with our great mentor here. TheLion himself is here today. Please do not miss this chance, this opportunity. Do say something on the comment section. Do ask some questions if you want to say something. If he has touched your life, do say so on the comment section. I know he's a great man in the space. He has actually been around for some time. So yeah, guys, do say something on this comment section, and let's converse, guys. Let's talk. Great moment indeed. How you feeling? I mean, been there, done that, still going power. How you feeling?
It's amazing how sometimes I motivate myself. Do you know that sometimes I watch my own videos? Sometimes I look at my own pictures and I point at the picture and I say, this man right here is my inspiration. This man right here is my mentor. And you know why? You know why, Mr. Mapena? Because life has never always been easy. But this man right here has always refused to give up.
Power.
And that is the problem, and that is the challenge with a whole lot of people today. A whole lot of our people are quick to give up. A whole lot of our people are quick to lose hope. I've had a lot of opportunities. I've had a lot of events where I could just throw in the towel and said, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't, I'm done, right? I'm losing money. I'm losing people that I love. People don't believe in me. I could have easily done that. But when I looked at all my options that I had at the time, giving up was not one of them. Because I did not have anything to fall back on. And I'm grateful that I've never had a plan B. So for me, it was a situation of this has to work. This has to work. There's no any other way around it. I have to win in this one way or the other. So that's the greatest challenge with our people. They're quick to give up. I have people that have started this journey on, and I'm sad to say a whole lot of them are still in the same position, and some of them have even degraded even way lower than how they used to be when we started. And today they look up to me and they say, Lion, I'm proud of you, my mentor, you my inspiration. Simple, because I've always refused to give up. And that's all I'm going to say to you right now is never allow yourself to give up in any situation. One of the motivational speakers says, if you wanted success as bad as you want to breed, you will definitely be successful. And he makes a story about an old man where a young man went to this old man and said to him, I want to be like you. I want to be successful. I want to be where you are. And the old man asked him and said, are you sure you want to be successful? And the young man said, yes, I want to be successful. Show me how it's done. And the old man said, okay, cool. Meet me tomorrow morning at this particular place at the beach. And the young man, of course, put on a tie, a suit, because he wanted to impress the old man. And they met at the beach, 3 a.m. in the morning, by the way. At the beach there, by the time the young man got there, he saw that, what the hell is going on here? The old man was right inside the water by the sea, right? And he called him, said, come in, walk through the water and come, let's talk. Remember, what is he wearing? A whole suit,
a whole suit,
right? And he walked into the water, surprised and wondering, what's this whole thing about? What's going on here? And by the time he got to the old man asked him a question again. Are you sure you want to be successful? And he said, yes, sir, I want to be successful. I will do whatever it takes. And while he was talking, the old man grabbed him by the neck and put him right underwater, submerged him in the water as if he was baptizing him. And the young man was struggling to breathe. He was fighting for his life. And then the old man pulled him up again. And when he was trying to talk, he put him back into the water, as if he was drowning him. And when he was about to lose his breath, he pulled him out again. And he said, look, I didn't ask to be killed. I don't want to die. I asked you to teach me how to be successful. And the old man asked him, he said, okay, wait. When I pressed your head underwater, what was your greatest desire? What is it that you wanted so bad? And the young man said, I wanted to breathe. He asked him, was there anything else important to you? He said, no. He said to him, what was important to you? And he said, all I wanted was to breathe. And he said to him, if you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. But if you kind of want it, if you like, okay, then there's no way you're going to have it. You need to want it as bad as you want to breathe. I always say you need to chase after your dreams as if they were the last bus for the night. And and you know that if you miss this bus, you're not going to sleep home, you're not going to get home. So what are you going to do? You're going to chase that bus with everything that you have until you catch it. And the moment you catch it, you know that your story will never be the same again.
You are a mentor, you are a teacher, you educate the masses. We see your results, we see your success. Are your mentees, are your students, are your followers as successful as you are? Or you are the only one climbing up the ladder, leaving everyone on the ground?
I remember I had a meeting not so long ago. I think about 2 months ago, was when I was forming a new team that I'm currently working with. And I said to them, one of my greatest stories, or my greatest story rather, is being able to point out to a few people that are documented millionaires today because they were simply associated with Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion. And I am not claiming that I am, how can I put it? I am not necessarily saying they are successful because of me, but keyword there is association, right? Because I was a part of their journey, we worked together, we sharpened each other. And today I can say I have roughly about 5 documented people that are millionaires today. And for me, that is a win. Not the cars that I have, not the properties that I have, not whatever businesses that I've invested in, but the people that are not necessarily a part of my family that are also millionaires wherever they are. And me looking at them from a distance, I smile and I sleep with peace at night. And I say to myself, well done, Thulani. You did it.
How is it to build a team? I know they say you can't do it alone. You need the masses, you need people. Together we can do it. Alone is going to be difficult, it's going to take time. That's why we come together for a certain cause, for a certain purpose. Tell us about building a team. How are you doing it? How do you build your team?
Okay, first and foremost, love. There's no way you're gonna work genuinely with people if you don't love people, and if you're all about yourself, right? The most important thing is you need to have love for the people that you're going to be working with, right? That's number one. Number two, you need to be committed to your people. And a leader cannot easily be irritated. A leader cannot easily give up on people. I always say, as long as a person is still breathing, as long as a person is still alive, that person has an opportunity to be something powerful, to be something special. Therefore, never easily lose hope, never easily give up on people. People are generally difficult to work with. I can tell you that. You ask the doctors, you ask the nurses, you ask the police, ask anybody that is in a position where they work with people. They will tell you people are difficult to work with. It's amazing how I find myself trying to convince and to show people why they need to be successful. Imagine, I don't necessarily have to do that. It's not my duty to show you what are the benefits of financial freedom. It needs to be a self-drive. But because I understand that sometimes all that people need is somebody to ignite their light, is somebody to motivate them, is somebody to inspire them, and people are not always friendly. Sometimes you find people, you work with people that are ungrateful, you work with people that do not acknowledge the value that you are adding in their lives, you know. So how I keep doing it is, number one, I do not expect anything in return. My focus is in adding value. My focus is in developing that person's life. And whether that person comes back to say, thank you, Thulani, I am where I am because of your teachings, because of your mentorship, because of your involvement in my life, or because of the power of association with you, you know. And I can tell you now, I don't get that a lot. I don't get a lot of thank yous, you know. I don't get a lot of appreciation. I don't get a lot of recognition. And the fact that I'm not expecting that, that's what keeps me going, you know. For me, what makes me happy is seeing that person on that pedestal. What makes me happy is seeing that person owning that house, owning that business, having bought that car, so on and so forth. That for me is the greatest thank you. Right. So number one, love people. Never expect a thank you in return, because you will definitely be disappointed most of the time, you know. And be committed to your team. Give your all with no expectation. Give everything. Give it your all. Go out there and drain yourself and pour your heart, pour your energy, pour your resources, and make sure that these people win. When they win, even though they might not come back to say thank you, remember, there were people that were watching from outside when you were building this empire, when you were building this team. And eventually they too would say, I want to be a part of that. That is why I find myself reinventing my team every now and then, you know, because that's all I'm about. I always say, guys, if I'm gonna work with you, I'm gonna work with you for a certain period of time, and then after some time, I'm gonna commit to a new group of people that I also want to take to the top with me, because the top is where we all belong.
We are live here at Temper Crypto TV with TheLion today. Don't miss this opportunity to ask him anything that you ever wanted to ask him. And of course, do not forget to subscribe. Go on to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and find Empire Crypto TV. Subscribe. Press the subscribe button so that whenever we go live with so many guests that we invite into this show, you get that notification that we are live. All right. Many people, when they get successful, they, move away from their own people. They desert people. They just don't associate with other people. It reminds me of a story where they said there was a diamond that was missing, and then there were so many rats around. And then the guy, the owner of the diamond, called a specialist to say, I lost my diamond. One of these rats, one of the rat here has swallowed my diamond. Can you point it out? And then it was easy for the specialist. He just pointed on a rat that was standing alone there. He said, How did you? Why do you think is the one? Okay. In fact, they checked on that rat and then they find that the diamond was indeed swallowed by that rat. The specialist said, you know what happens? The idiots, when they get rich, they stand alone. They don't associate with anybody else. How do you keep humble for all the successes that you have achieved, but to keep yourself grounded?
I think for me it's not that difficult, you know. It's always remembering where I come from. It's always remembering where I come from, you know, and what I stand for. Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion, is a philanthropist. You know, I'm all about people. That is why a lot of people, a lot of rich people today, that were not necessarily reaching out to me, that were not necessarily my friend. You know, I find myself getting a lot of invites for coffee, for dinner, so on and so forth, you know, not necessarily even connected to the business that I'm doing, you know. But I can tell you now, the company that I enjoy the most, you know, is the company of people that are still dreaming big, you know, because I always want to be in that environment where I'm an inspiration to somebody. You know, I always love it when people get into one of my cars and be like, wow, you know I'm gonna have this one day, so on and so forth, you know. And yes, of course, I do spend time with the wealthy, the rich, so on and so forth. But I enjoy the environment where I'm an inspiration to somebody. I enjoy an environment where I say to the young man, and I find myself saying that almost every day. Even yesterday, I had a meeting in Joburg. I was with one of my friends, and these two young people, one was black, one was white, and they were standing together, and then they walked into my car, and they said to me, hey man, we are so motivated, we are so inspired, so on and so forth, you know. And I started talking to them, you know, and I remember saying to this white boy, he's not such a young man, by the way, but I remember saying to him, not so long ago, I was also on a stop sign somewhere, pointing my fingers up, indicating to one of the taxis that were passing by that I'm going to town. From town, I will take another taxi to Sentin, you know, because I was going to have meetings there where I was sharing the opportunity or the business, you know. So I said to them, if few years later I can be where I am, you too can make it way bigger than me, you know. So it's always reminding yourself that you were there, and not only were you there, but life is so unpredictable that anything is possible. It's highly possible for Thulani Maphiliba to fall back to wherever he was, but I'm doing my best to make sure that doesn't happen, you know. But you need to allow yourself to respect people in the way that you know that life is unpredictable, and reminding yourself that that guy who's using a taxi, that guy who's struggling to pay his bill, that guy who's struggling to, you know, manage his life financially, at some point, Tulane, you were there, and remember how it was. Remember how you wished, you know, somebody could be kind to you at that moment, you know. So that's what keeps me going. You know, I remember how I needed kindness. I remember how I desired love. I desired support, you know. So me remembering my desires when I was financially struggling is what keeps me humble, because I give to people what I wish was given to me at the time when I was at that point. That is why today, in conclusion, I have, even though I don't like to talk about this, but I have quite a number of people that are a part of my budget monthly, because I am doing to those
Big ups
people.
to that. Big ups to that.
Thank you, King, because I am doing to those people what I wish somebody was doing to me when life was not so good. I know that 500 Rand, 1,000 Rand, or 1.5 would have made a huge difference in my life then. You know, 500 cannot be that important to me now, but I'm telling you, 500 is a luxury to somebody now, today. That is why I have a budget where I know that X amount goes to this person, and they don't even know each other, by the way. you know, because I don't tell this one about this and this one about this one. No, every first day of each month, I sit in my bed and then I go to my app. They're already saved as beneficiaries. Money here, money here, money here, money here, money here. And I know it's those works of kindness that keeps adding more value into my life, but I know I'm adding value into somebody's life, but also remembering that at some point I was there myself and then I needed a little bit of break. But yeah.
Christoph, we want to know, when did you make your first million? What was it? And which project were you pushing at that particular time?
I really did wish we don't come to that point, because me and my first million was not a happy ending, I must say. But let me get to it. I made my first million back in 2016. I was a part of a project, you know, because Thulani Maphiliba, I've always been a hard worker, and I'm grateful that I never won Lotto, you know, because if I had won Lotto, I would have been in the show called I Blew It. And normally, if you win Lotto, I mean, you don't know the way to wealth, you don't know the way to financial freedom, you don't know the way to riches. You just gambled and then you were fortunate, you got that. But with me, I didn't gamble, you know. I put on the effort, I put on the work. You know, my only challenge back in 2016 was, in as much as I've always been a hard worker, I've always been a big dreamer, but I've never had financial freedom, right? So when the money hit me, right, I've worked so much, I've put on the effort, I've put on the work, I was consistent, you know. I remember I even lost weight because I would even forget to eat, you know, in the way I was putting in more effort, more time into the business that I was doing at the time. And then before I knew it, like, money hit me. And having, I didn't even realize that I didn't have financial freedom. You know, I was not prepared for the money that came to me. You know, I postponed a lot of my goals, I postponed a lot of my dreams, and then I started entertaining the current situation. You know, I got into the limelight. You know, we would go to expensive clubs. You know, we would spend money, so on and so forth. I remember sometimes the bill on one weekend will get to 50,000, 60,000, and you would pay that like nobody's business, you know. So I felt like I made it, you know, and I'm here now and there's no going back. And it was just a matter of month before I fell right back to where I was, you know. So yes, I made my first million in 2016, but unfortunately, I did not have financial education then. I was not as mature then. You know, when money came, I didn't know what to do with money. I knew what to do. I found a way. I found the path to financial freedom. But when I got there, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to manage it, you know, and then I fell right back into the same ditch that I was trying to come out of. That is the reason why I took a 2 years break, you know, after I fell back into the situation where I was. I took a 2 year break and then I came back again in 2018. And when I came back, I remember I moved to Cape Town rather. And then that's when I took some time to educate myself how to handle, because remember, I already had a roadmap. So how to make money, how to make your first million was no longer an issue for me.
Okay, yeah.
The issue now was how to stay, or how to multiply that million after you have. So making my first million was no longer a big deal. The big deal now was, how now do I multiply that million? How do I stay a millionaire after having made it again back into that 1 million? So that's when I had to go back and educate myself and look at other opportunities and other platforms whereby I can grow myself financially, once I hit that again, because already I had the roadmap, So when I came back into the industry back in 2018, I was ready. And that's the reason why I am here today. It's all because of I taught myself, I got financial education, and I was prepared. And then I started again, working my way to the top. That's why there's just definitely no way Thulani Maphiliba can fall back into the same ditch again. That's highly impossible.
Interesting, and powerful. Everyone's dream when they grow up is to look back home and say, you know what, I'm looking after my family, I'm looking after my parents, I'm looking after my siblings. Do you think you also have achieved that dream? We saw beginning of this year, if not mistaken, where you demolished. We saw tractors, these big what do you call them, demolishing a house, and then you had to rebuild that house. Can you tell us about that?
Look, Crypto King, that has been one of my greatest dreams. uh, One of my greatest dreams has always been building a home, and I mean, my favorite lady in the entire world, my first lady, my best, has always been my mother, because she's one of the people that has always believed in me, even when a lot of people would question my ambitions and the things I would pursue. But my mom would always say, let's give Thulani a chance. Let's see how far he goes with whatever he's doing, And during my struggles, during my tough times, during my hardships, this lady called my mother was always there for me, even when I was not right, because I've not always been a perfect child. I've made mistakes. I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of, but to my amazement, my mother has always been there, So for me, it has never been a good feeling for me to be out there in all these restaurants, hotels, living in the suburb, knowing very well that this lady that is my number one fan still lives in an RTP house. This lady who's my number one fan doesn't have Wi-Fi. This lady who's my number one fan doesn't have proper furniture, doesn't have a good TV, doesn't even eat good food, while me, I'm busy out there, eating in all these exclusive restaurants, So I said, Thulani, for you to enjoy what you are doing, you need to build an empire for your mom, and not just for my mom, but also for my siblings, because we grow up in a neighborhood where we saw developments from our neighbor there, our neighbor there, our neighbor there, yet we've never had that, So for me, it has always been a desire, not just for my mom, but for my siblings, for us to proudly say, Gusekaya la. You know that feeling where you bring your friends,
It's an
where you
awesome
bring
feeling. It's an awesome feeling, I tell you.
there's no feeling that beats that, So I've always wanted to take either a friend or a business partner and say, well, Gusekayala, this is my mom's place, this is where I grew up, So for me, that was the greatest desire. And let me tell you something, my mom is so selfless. When I did that project, she said to me, because I was still renting at the time, she said to me, thank you so much, Kim. She said to me at the time, Thulani, you are renting and I live in my house, even though it's an RTP, but it's still my house. And listen to what this woman said. She said to me, start with you. By yourself, because I wanted to build a house before I even bought my own place where I can call a home, But she refused. She said, "You're not gonna build me a house until you have your own house where you live and where you can bring me and say, Mom, this is my house." So she said to me, start with you first. Then you can come back and say, Mommy, I'm ready to build you a house. You know, that is why I had to quickly, you know, find myself something, and that's how I moved back in Remsag, where I'm currently based. You know, and then when I did that, then I went back and then I said, okay, mommy, we are ready now. Are you ready to move out of your RTP? It was not easy to get her out of that place. Look, of course, my intention was to get her a house somewhere in the suburbs, but she said to me, that's not my life, Thulani. This is where my life is. You know, I've always been a township girl. I love my neighbors. I love my people. And I appreciate that you want to take me to the suburbs, but that life will frustrate me. You know, so if you want to give me that life, would rather do something where I am. And I said, okay, cool, not a problem. You know, so I booked her out of her house, you know, because when I spoke to the construction company, I told them maximum I'm giving you is 3 months. The bill is not a big deal. Money is not a big deal. I've already, of course, worked with the guys that draw plans. What are they called again?
Architecture.
Architecture, you know,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
guy already drew a plan for us. I showed it to my family, to my siblings, to my brother and my sister. They approved it. We showed it to my mom. She was happy about it. And when I got this construction company, quite a good construction company, I can recommend it to anybody right now. And I said to the guy, his name is Peter. I said, Peter, I need this done in 3 months max. Nothing more than that. Minimum 2 months, maximum 3 months. You go beyond that, then I'm going to start deducting whatever I owe you, you know, as a balance from the house. And he said to me, well, Lion, let's do this. And the total cost, of course, for my mom's house, including furniture, was 1.7 million, of which we did cash.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Big ups to that. Big ups to that.
Oh, I mean,
1.7 million
yeah, I'm
for the
telling you, I
mom's house.
mean, that lady's TV is bigger than my TV in my living room. And for me, that is my greatest joy. You know, when every time I visit my mom and then we watch her TV, and then I come back to my house, I see my TV so small. And for me, that's happiness. That is happiness.
It's Women's Month, and you are dropping bombs. That's marvelous, bruh. Thank you so much for
So
doing
she's the
that.
queen. She's the queen. You go to my mom's house right now. She's the queen. You know, her bedroom is a palace. You know, her living room is a palace. She has 365 degrees cameras. You know, she has two of the most expensive dogs, Rottweilers. You know, so she's highly protected. You know, the security system is at another level. I check my mom's house on my phone every now and then. I can see all the movements going on there. You know, so she's a queen, and she eats the good food. You know, so I'm happy. You know, I'm happy, and I believe it's every African, every black man's dream, every black woman's dream to give that life to your mother. And if I can do it, you can do it too. I didn't want to give my mom the best funeral, but I wanted to give my mom the best life.
Blessings shall follow you.
Thank you, King. Thank you, King.
You have traveled around. You've been to so many countries, so many continents. Tell us more about the joys of traveling. How many continents have you been to? Countries that have you been to? And what exactly are you extracting? What are you learning from these journeys, from these travels? What value do they contribute to your success, to your life?
Yo, King, I've been to quite a number of countries. You know, I will have to check my passport, you know, to remind myself of some of them. But I've been to quite a number of countries. You know, UK, China, in China, Shanghai, Hong Kong, I've been to India. I've been to a number of times. We've been to Dubai. It's quite a number of them. Like it's a whole list. You know, if I would have to name each and every one of them, you know, but one of my, the experiences rather, the moment you get to, visiting another country is like moving out of your hometown where you grew up from. You know, it expands your level of thinking. You know, you start to see life outside the box that you came from. You know, you start to see uh, that whatever you've been seeing, whatever you've been watching, is that there's more to it, more than what you are used to. You know, example, you know, one of the countries that really inspires me a lot is Dubai. You know, I think that's the reason why in less than 1 year I've been to Dubai about 3 times already. You know, but one of the things that inspires me about Dubai is one of the countries where they don't know what is the definition of the word limit. Right. So being in Dubai a few times has taught me that never allow any limitation. That is why in Dubai we have the tallest building in the world called Burj Khalifa. Is the tallest building because those guys do not know what is the definition of the word limit. They always want to go beyond the boundaries of that word limit. And that has taught me also never allow myself rather to be limited and to settle for anything that is below what I can do or what I can be. You know, so the moment you start traveling outside of South Africa, you realize that there's more to life. You know, you start to see even the potential within yourself. But even more than that, another thing I can say that was a benefit from me is you also get to build, you know, friendships, relationships, you know, business partnerships outside of South Africa, you know, because the space we are in, especially blockchain and cryptocurrency technology, you know, that type of industry is not necessarily a local business, but it's a global business. So it's very important, you know, to connect with people all over the world. You know, that's why one of the questions that I don't like, you know, most of the time is my ethnic group, you know, because if you're gonna do well in this industry, some of the things you don't want is to be limited to a particular ethnic group, you know, or even nationality. Why? Because you need to position yourself as a global icon, as a global person, right? You need to be able to embrace people from Venda, people from Botswana, people from Lesotho, people from KwaZulu Natal, you know. So you need to be able to blend with people from all walks of life, you know. So even leaving your country gives you that opportunity. You know, that's why recently when I was in Dubai, maybe some of you guys saw one of my pictures where I was wearing a kurta, you know, which is normally a Muslim outfit, you know, even though I'm not Muslim myself. Why? Because you get to celebrate and embrace different cultures, you know, and if you're going to celebrate and embrace different cultures, you know, that's how you start to expand and grow even your horizons. You know, one of the people that inspires me in the Bible was a prayer by Jabez. When that man was praying, his prayer was, God, I pray that you expand my territory, right? I think he's the only person in the Bible that prayed for wealth, if I'm not mistaken. Saul prayed for wisdom, but Jabez didn't pray for wisdom. Jabez told God, he said, I want to be wealthy, I want to be rich. He told him, I want to have a bigger territory, enlarge my sphere of contact, and he got exactly what he asked for. So with me as well, I don't like to be limited to a particular group, but I want to grow beyond the borders of South Africa. That is why I have teams growing in UK. I have teams growing in India, and recently I just connected with one person from Las Vegas, which is my dream destination. I've never been to Las Vegas, guys. I want to go to Las Vegas. And I promise you, next year I'm going to Las Vegas, and I'm not going there to play small. I'm going there as a big boy.
Big ups to that.
Yeah. So I've just connected with one of the big guys from Las Vegas, and for me, it's a sign because I've always dreamt of going to Las Vegas, and I know it's just a matter of time. So yeah, it expands your reasoning capacity. It shows you what you can do, and it's an advantage where your business is concerned.
Have it is Thulani Maphiliba, the lion here. I made a promise, and if you make a promise, you have to deliver. There you have it. That's a V-Class board cash. I didn't want to compromise on anything, so I got a full spec, full package. Let's close the door there so that you are able to see. Look at that. That's the first in the country, by the way. The only two-tone V-Class you will see is the one that is owned by Thulani Maphiliba, the lion. So that's the first in the country. Tell me if you've seen one like this. That's a new model. That's a new model. We didn't wanna compromise on anything. That's amazing, guys, right? Look at that. 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 Super excited. You have no idea. Let's close the door. Let's close the door. Amazing, right? Amazing, right? Look at that. I made a promise. If you make a promise, you deliver. If you make a promise, you deliver. Look at that. Let's open the boot. Come on, somebody.
How much?
Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it amazing?
This is awesome, man. This is
Double
lovely.
sunroof. Panoramic. Look at that, guys.
This is lovely, man.
That's my mobile office.
Okay, guys. There you have it. I made a promise. I kept my promise. Stay motivated. Stay true to your dreams. Whoever said it was impossible was only trying to destroy your belief. Nothing is impossible if you believe in the beauty of your dreams.
Wow. Explain the feeling. Explain the feeling when you get to these levels. How do you feel when you you buy yourself, you get yourself something so special, something that you always desired? Explain that feeling, please.
I think I'm now getting to understand the meaning of the word priceless. That feeling is really priceless. You cannot put a tag on it. And you sometimes try to pinch yourself and check if am I dreaming or something? Is this happening? I know a couple, not a few, but a couple of times, I've done it without people even noticing that I was checking if, like, am I really awake? Is this one of the dreams that I've been having where I was driving off a luxurious car or a luxurious home, or being in a luxurious or opulent environment, you know. So a couple of times I've had to check, is this happening, you know. And I don't think there was ever an evening where I rewarded myself and I've never been in tears. You know, by the way, guys, the lion does shed tears. You know? So,
What kind of a lion is this? Is it a soft lion?
you know, when a lion is on its own and the lion is reflecting, you
No,
know,
absolutely.
going back to my mother, I think I always see my success through the eyes of my mother, because most of the things that I've achieved, that I've accumulated, you know, I normally get to a point where I believe I've done it the moment my mother sees it. And you know, my mother is she's something else, you know. Like, she becomes like a baby, you know. She would go around, whether it's a car, whether it's a property, whatever it is, you know. And every time I would look at how she is, you know, and how she's admiring that and praising me. And that's the most of the time, that's when it hits me that you've done it. To them. Look at your mom. Look at her face. My mom is light in complexion, so she always becomes pink, you know, every time she's celebrating my wins, my success. You know, that's why most of the time, you know, from when I was still hustling small, you know, from as little as buying myself a shirt or clothes, I would always go to my mom, you know, and I would always model in front of her. And she's like, the way she looks at me, the way she praises me, for me, it has always been priceless, you know. So trust me, King. It's always a priceless feeling to accumulate, to achieve, you know. And when you see people that genuinely love you, how they celebrate your win, how they celebrate your success. For me, that's what I look at. I look at the people around me. I look at that and I'm like, okay, look at them. Look at my brother there. Look at my sister there. Look at my son. You know, look at my daughter. Look at them. Look at how they
Nice
feel.
one, nice one.
Look at them. And for me, that's it. It's not the thing, but it's the people around me, how they are blown away, how they are celebrating, how they are amazed by my achievements. For me, that's it. It's the people around, including friends and business partners.
Christopher, the lion is here, guys. Now, we want to hear from you, the lion. How can someone make their first million? What strategies can they take? Someone is down there, has been trying. Someone is still very much confused. This life confuses a lot. The young, the old ones. And someone is still very unclear where they are going. What strategies can they undertake to make them a millionaire?
Beautiful. I think about 5 days ago, I'm not sure exactly of the time frame, but not so long ago, let me put it that way. I had a meeting. I think I put that picture on my Instagram and Facebook, where I had a meeting with some white friends of mine. It was two guys. You must have seen the picture. And
Yes, of course.
the guys asked me the same question, shockingly. You know, the guy said to me, I'm not going to mention his name, but he said to me, tell me, Lion, how can I get to that point where I can say I've made my first million? And I said to him, look, King, I need you to do a research, whether now or do it in your own spare time. Look at any industry that has produced millionaires in a short space of time, like the network marketing business. If you find an answer to that, and get back to me. And not just the network marketing business, but specifically the cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology. I'm talking about documented millionaires. I'm not talking about people that claim to be millionaires. I'm not talking about people that claim to be billionaires. I'm talking about documented millionaires, people that you can put their lives at value and verify their assets, verify whatever they have, so on and so forth. Look at any industry today that has produced documented millionaires, apart from the network marketing business in the last 5 years. And trust me, he came back to me and he said, I'm shocked. He said to me, he came back to me 2 days later, by the way, and he said, I've Googled, I've checked, I've asked questions, and I'm shocked that the industry that is not even well spoken of, even in Africa, is the same industry that has produced millionaires in the last 5 years in South Africa, in Africa. Cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, right? So for me, if you are out there and you are dreaming of making your first million, I always appreciate and speak well of what people are doing out there. And I always tell people, if what you are doing, you are passionate about it, I don't promote resign, but I always say supplement that with something. If you are passionate about working with people, you are a doctor, you are a firefighter, you are providing good services to the community that we cannot live without, it's good. Continue doing that. However, think financial freedom. In the midst of you fulfilling your heart's desire in the profession that you are in, if one of those is financial freedom is in the network marketing business, blockchain and cryptocurrency space, right? So find a good company, find a legit company. Now with this one, you need to be extremely careful because there are extremely many pyramid schemes out there. There are many people that are out to get your money, that have positioned themselves as network marketing business or as crypto and blockchain technology based companies. So you need to be extremely careful when it comes to doing your due diligence, right? But find a good company, right? If you are a person that loves product, you can consider product-based companies. But personally, myself, I would recommend to you a blockchain technology, cryptocurrency technology-based company, right? But find a legit one. And then once you find it, we spoke about this today with a friend of mine earlier today. I think it was around 11 a.m. And I said, a lot of people call me fortunate. A lot of people call me lucky. And guys, I can tell you now, it has nothing to do with being fortunate. It has nothing to do with being lucky. But one of the things about Thulani Maphiliba is that I'm very consistent and I'm very stubborn. Once I grab something, once I believe in something, I go in wholeheartedly. When it comes to the network marketing business, one of the greatest downfall of many friends, of many people, is being all over. If you're going to be successful in this industry, find a legit company, do your due diligence, and commit to that company. You will get people that will inbox you, that will send you WhatsApps, that will call you because they see the work you are putting in currently into your business, and they would want to bring you over into whatever they are doing, right? As long as what you are doing has proven to be legit, has proven to be proper, if you want to put commitment and consistency in that, then you are guaranteed to make it. But if you're going to allow yourself to be all over, you partner with this company, somebody introduces something else to you, you put your money there and you put your money there, there's no way. There's just no way. You can make 30,000 there, 50,000 there, 100,000 there, but you're not going to see $1 million anytime soon. I promise you, you're not going to see $1 million anytime soon. But if you're going to make your first $1 million, your first value is being laser focused. You need to learn to be laser focused. You can never be all over if you're going to make your first $1 million. Let's look at McDonald's. Let's look at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's look at Chicken Licken. Let's look at most of the successful businesses today. Do you really think the founders of those businesses were focused on multiple businesses at the time when they were building the brand? The answer is no. Definitely no.
That's power, yeah. That's powerful, yeah. That's powerful.
They found a product or a business that works, and they put maximum focus on that business. Everything, their lives, their family, everything, their bread became about that business. They were breathing and living that business. And if you too want to make your first $1 million, number one, I said, find a legit crypto blockchain technology based company, do your due diligence, make sure you are in the right space, and be extremely careful because you can easily lose your money in the network marketing space with companies that are positioning themselves to look like legit businesses while they're out there to get your money. But once you find it, once you find something proper, and how do you find it? Sometimes it's not about your own due diligence, but it's also about connecting with the right people, that you know very well that they are professional in this industry. People like myself, I'm going to blow my own horn in this regard, because one thing that people know about Thulani Maphiliba is that I don't do what a lot of people in South Africa call amapanoi. I don't. If I do, then nami bangshail, right? But I do not knowingly, voluntarily go into anything that I know very well that this project has intentions to steal from people. I don't do that, right? So you look at the people like Thulani who do not partner with any companies, so-called even companies, pyramid schemes that are out there to steal from people, right? So you look at those people, where are they going? What are they doing? And then you don't just rely on them, but you also take responsibility of doing your own due diligence. And once you've done your own due diligence, be laser focused. You will be recruited. They will call you. They will discourage you. They will tell you all kinds of things. In the last 2 years, I've made a couple of millions from a company that when I started, I was being discouraged. I remember being told, this man that you have partnered with, all kinds of stories. But I did my due diligence and I was like, you know what? I see what a lot of people don't see here. And I was laser focused in that. So find a good company, be laser focused, and don't just be laser focused, but put in the effort. Right. In most of these companies, there's what we call ROI, return on investment, right? Meaning passive income. You put X amount, the company says, this is how much will be you will be mining or minting, where cryptocurrency is based, as passive income, but also you have an opportunity to make more money with this company if you build yourself as a digital entrepreneur, meaning if you introduce other people into this business, you have a potential to make X amount of money, So put effort in that. There is something, King, that I call the master candidate list, because a lot of people always ask me, how do you start? This is how you start, guys. I'm sorry, King, you didn't ask that question, but I'm gonna answer the question you didn't ask.
Oh, shoot.
This is how you start, guys. Any company, there isn't, how does Thulani Maphiliba win? How do you always win? This is how I win. Any company that I start with, either before or immediately after I sign up, I go back into my space and I do what we call a master candidate list. What is a master candidate list? A master candidate list is a list of people that you would love to work with. And you need to ask yourself questions. Why do I want to work with these people? What potential do I see in this person? What value will I add in this person's life? And what value will this person add in my life? It's not about who has money to sign up. No. You are building a profession. You are building a team. You are building a business. Therefore, you need to be intentional in how you are building that business. So in a master candidate list, I always recommend that have at least 30 names. But in those 30 names on one page, you're going to have your first 5 names. So the first 5 names, that is your core team. Right. So the first 5 names, those are the people that you need to wonder, why do I want to work with Mr. Elsin Mabena? You answer that question, then his name goes to number 1. You ask the second question, then you have the second name. And then you have 5 names. These are the people that you want to build your business with, right? You haven't called anybody, you haven't spoken to anybody. It's just you and your list. You go all the way up to 30 names. And why do I always say all the way up to 30 names? Because not everybody's going to join your business. Of the 30 people that you have on your master candidate list, if you are really fortunate, you will have 5 people of the 30 people that partners with you.
So it's a number scam. It's a number scam.
It's a numbers game, So have at least about 30 people. Of those 30 people that you are going to call, set up meetings with, you will only get about 5 people that says, I'm ready. And the second part now, you've done your first part, master candidate list. Second part, you start now making those calls. You share the opportunity. You tell those people about your product, your services, or your business, and how that product or business has a potential to add value in their lives financially, how it can change their lives, because it shouldn't be about you. It shouldn't be about the product also, but it should be about them. How will this add value in your life? How will this change your life? How will this make everything different from what it is now? And then once you speak to the heart of a person, you are likely to get a yes. Right.
Powerful.
And once you get that yes, do not move on to the next person, because that's another mistake that people make. They do what we call recruit and dump. Do not fall under the trap of recruiting and dumping people after they've signed up with you. But the next mission should be developing your team. Now that these people have said yes to you, remember, they don't understand the business. They don't understand the services. They don't understand the product. Now, your next mission is training them. It's showing them how to win. Now that you are a part of this product, how can you use this product to grow financially, to grow socially? How do you use this to win? You show them that, you train them that. You train them where that is concerned, and then you start building. Let's make an example of 5. You have 5 people that said yes to you, right? Now you start building them, you start assisting them with their meetings, with their presentations, calling them, making follow-ups, and making sure that they get to the same position where you are in. That is what we call duplication. So you are duplicating yourself in these people. You are putting your DNA in these people, right? Once these people have caught your DNA, you have built 5 successful millionaires. Now remember, you have put your DNA in these people. What happens? They transfer the same DNA to their 5. This one, he's 5. This one is 5. So that DNA spreads across the network. Are you getting me? So you have your
This is powerful,
first
yeah?
5 millionaires. After your
These
first
are
5
powerful
millionaires,
secrets, eh?
that's what I'm talking about, leadership. So duplicate yourself. That DNA, that's why I was saying it's when we started talking, I said it's not about Thulani, but it's about these 5 people. My team will tell you every time I reach a rank in any business, they always fight with me. You know why? Because I never want them to post my rank or to celebrate me, but I'm always the first one to celebrate my team's ranking up. Why? I want to showcase that he has made it. He has made it. He has made it. And not only this one, but these ones are first generation. They are also winning. You get what I'm saying? So now I see that Thulani, you are winning. There's not just you now. There's 5 of you. There's 5 of Thulani Maphiliba, the Lions. There might be different names. They might be unique in whatever they are doing, but there's 5 of us now. Before I know it, there's 5 times 5, that's 25, right? So there's 25 of us now. Before you know it, there's 125 of us now. Before you know it, the entire network is spreading. And then before you know it, it's a pride of lions. It's not just one king in the jungle anymore, but it's a whole pride of lions. So we're no longer just celebrating Thulani Maphiliba, but we are celebrating John Tamatama, we are celebrating Pete Pompis, we are celebrating Mkolontu, we are celebrating that one is buying a house there, that one is buying a car there, that one is starting a business there, that one is starting a mentorship program there. You know, now the fire has spread across. But let's go back to where we started. Laser focused. You cannot do that if you are with company A and you're at company B and you're at company C. You know, you will be all over. You'll make 10,000 there, you'll make 30,000 there, you will lose 40,000 there, you know, and then when you take, when you check your life 1 year later, how much have I made? Okay, I've made 120,000. How much have I lost? I've lost 80,000.
So it's never balancing. It's not balancing. You need to be laser focused. Know what you are doing at what particular time. Don't be everywhere. Great stuff. This is powerful. You have just dropped some powerful secrets here. If people can actually take this and use it in their businesses, in their in their networks, they can actually become successful. This is powerful. All right, I've got yes, go ahead.
Crypto King, Mr. Mapena, I've seen powerful, influential leaders who are struggling to make their first million simply because they are lacking that principle of being laser focused. Why do I keep throwing in laser focused? Let's look at the word laser. Do you know laser is one of the powerful forces that can cut anything?
Yeah.
And how is it that a laser can cut through anything? It's because a laser is a certain amount of power that is focused only on a particular object. That's why any laser, Google any laser, a laser is always one line. If it's a light, it's one particular light that focuses on a particular angle or object. And because its focus is on that particular object, it has power to penetrate that object, whether it's steel or stone or any a hard or concrete object. But because it's laser focused, that's why we call it laser focus. Once you are laser focused on that thing, the chances of you winning are extremely high. But the chances of you winning, if your focus is all over, are very slim, because your power doesn't go to one particular object, but it goes to multiple objects. Therefore, by the time it reaches this object is weakened. By the time it reaches this object is weak. By the time it reaches this object is weak. So the chances of you winning, they are there, but they are very slim. But if you find something that you can be laser focused on against all odds, against all challenges, you start thinking with your brain and not with your stomach, because a lot of people think with their stomachs, not with their brains.
Wow. That's
There was
something else.
There was a time that when I was building my business, I was hungry in the stomach. And I said to myself, Thulani, right now, you need money for this, you need money for this, you need to provide for this. That is your stomach talking. And if you're going to focus on what your stomach is saying, you're not going to be laser focused. So you need to override what your stomach is saying and focus on what your brain is saying. This company that I've discovered, or this platform that I have found where cryptocurrency, blockchain technology is concerned, this is powerful. It may not give me money in the next 2 months. It may not give me money in the next 3 months, but in the long run, this is going to make me millions. But your stomach is saying, hey, we are hungry now. Override what your stomach is saying. Right? And be laser focused on that object, on that business. I'm telling you, you'll come back and share the same story that Thulani Maphiliba is saying today. Because there was a time in my life where I was living on noodles every single day.
You've been there.
I'm telling you, if I had to change the meal, then it was KFC. So I was moving between noodles and KFC, noodles and KFC. And then guess what? On the other hand, what was happening? My money was 50,000. Then it was 100,000. Then it was 300,000. I'm still eating noodles. Then it was 500,000. I'm still eating noodles. Then it was 6,000, 600,000. And my business partners started complaining. And they were saying to me, what's wrong with you? You need to spoil yourself. You need to enjoy your money. I said, my time has not come because I had a target. That's another point.
You had the target.
I had a target. And my target was 300,000 US dollars. Right. So
300,000 US dollars.
My portfolio and I said to my partners, I'm spending no time until I've pushed my portfolio to 300,000. But of course, I didn't get to 300,000. I didn't get to 300,000. I think I started relaxing a bit when I got to 150,000. And then I said, okay, Thulani, you are driving a car that is forever sick. You need to upgrade your vehicle, so I started upgrading my life here and there to better my business. But at that time, I was not buying things I don't need. I was buying things I need in order to grow my business. So the first thing that I upgraded was a car that I was driving. Right? And then I started taking certain meetings in certain places in Sentin, so on and so forth, so I was investing back into my business, right? Bottom line is I had a target. One of the greatest mistakes that a lot of people do is they don't have a target. They're just doing it. They're just doing it. What is your target? In the next 6 months, in the next 10 months, in the next 12 months, what is the target? How much do you want to make? Don't come with the mentality that you want to make your first million in the next 1 or 2 months. Have a goal, have a target, and put your target either in euros or in dollars.
That's so powerful. Um, this is this is powerful. All right, I've got before we close, I've got three personal questions for you.
I'm scared.
All right, I see you've got two watches on your armrest.
Okay.
Does it mean you work in South Africa, you sleep in Dubai, and what time do you sleep? I know most of digital entrepreneurs, they do not sleep. They sleep very few hours. Are you one of those people who sleep very, very little?
You can say that again, King. Let me tell you
Mhm.
this. Um, one of the mentalities that I had to get rid of, and fortunately, I had to consult a friend who is a doctor, right? And I asked him. I'm not gonna name him because he might be. They might take him on, in his industry. But I asked him. I said, Doctor, we are always told about 8 hours, and I said to him, does a human body really need 8 hours of rest? And he said to him, Lion, you are one of the first, you are one of the few people, rather, that asked me that question. He's a big doctor in the country,
Mm.
and fortunately, he's a friend of mine. And he said to me, let me tell you this, and I'm glad I have a few doctor friends, so you can't be traced. And he said to me, and he said to me, 4 hours of sleep every day is enough for you. 8 hours is a tool to instigate poverty.
What?
That's what he said to me. He said 8 hours was a tool that they formulated because the more you sleep, the more poor you become. Right. So since then, I then always knew that I don't need 8 hours of sleep, but 4 hours of sleep is always enough for me. So I can tell you now, King, almost every day, I sleep about about 4 hours. Most of the time, uh, you'll find that Tulane at around 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, somewhere there I'm awake. Almost every day, 3 a.m. I'm awake. My friends, my business partners, some will tell you that this guy will message you 3 a.m. Some have called them, those who are not married, by the way. I've called them at around 4, 5 a.m. And I said, listen, I've got a brilliant idea. And then we start discussing it around 4 a.m. while everybody's asleep. Because that is where your brain is more productive. It's fresh. You just woke up, you never spoke to anybody, you've never said anything to anybody. That's where your brain starts waking. Waking magic. That's where you get ideas, that's where you get strategies, that's where you write down things. By the time people wake up, you are done working. That's why
Mm.
sometimes in my house, you'll find people think that I'm not doing anything because they just woke up. Me, I've been awake since 3 a.m. By the time they wake up, I'm not doing anything. I'm just on my
Yeah, they
phone.
see you lazing around. They feel
I'm
like, no,
telling
this
you,
guy is
and then,
always moving around. He
but
needs
surprise,
what does he
surprise,
do?
exactly. But surprise, surprise, results show them that this guy is doing so much because I always ask my family, guys, if you really think I'm not doing anything, how the hell do you think I'm making all these millions? Where do all these millions come from? Because I don't have any mom lambo in my life.
All right. The second one is if someone gives you a job and say, come work, government job, um, or any specific job, and say you're gonna be getting so much money. Figuratively, let's say they say you're gonna be getting 100,000 a month. Will you take it? Will you still go back to work and work for a company? work for Bastion, as they constantly say, will you still go back to work?
If I was passionate about the offer that they are giving me, the answer would be yes. Keyword there is
Okay.
passion. If I
Passionate.
was passionate about whatever offer they are giving me, I would do it. You know why? Because I'm pursuing my passion. But if my reason is around money, definitely the answer would be no, because I have found a secret to financial freedom, and it's nowhere near any form of employment. It's nowhere near the corporate. But if the offer was around what I'm passionate about, I would definitely take it. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't know about Thulani Maphiliba. I've always wanted to be in the South African Defence Force. So I think it's something I would really do with everything in me, even now, being in the South African Defence Force, you know, because it has always been my dream as a young man. It has always been my desire, you know, seeing myself in that uniform, being out there in the field, protecting my country, protecting the innocents, defending, so on and so forth. So you see, that's what I'm passionate about. So it has nothing to do with money. But if you were to ask me now to be the CEO of ESCOM, I'll tell you, no, I'm not interested. I'm definitely not interested. I mean, if I'm able to make about $6,000 daily, $7,000 daily, you can convert that to rands, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. You know, an amount that the CEO of a particular company makes in a month, and I can make it daily easily in the blockchain and crypto based industry. So definitely no. My answer is no. If it's about money, no, because I've found a secret to financial freedom. And I can tell you now, I repeat, I, Thulani Maphiliba TheLion, have found a secret to financial freedom, and it's in the network marketing business, specifically the crypto and blockchain technology based companies.
The last question everyone is waiting for.
My
What's
goodness.
your net worth?
What's my network? I think honestly, Mr. Mapena, honestly, I've been, I mean, in the last 3 years, you know, I've been busy building that I haven't had time to stop and focus and say, okay, this is where I am now, because I'm still building my life. You know, I still I haven't reached a point in my life where I say, okay, let me stop a bit, you know, and do a stock check. Where am I? You know, how much have I accumulated? How much have I achieved? You know, so for me, it's still a journey. You know, so I'm not yet there. I'm not yet in the position where I can say this is my net worth. But of course, I mean, it's a couple, if not a few millions, you know, that I cannot necessarily put a specific a specific number to. Also, I don't want inboxes, you know, from all the wrong people.
No, that's
So
true. That's true.
yeah, I'm one of those people. People think people think I, how can I put it? I put everything out there. I don't, guys. You know, whatever I put out there, Mr. Mapena, I think it's just 10% of where I am, honestly. You know,
Mm, mm,
uh,
mm.
and I'm doing a lot of things that I'm very quiet about, you know, because my focus is future generation. My focus is legacy. You know, so I put out there what I think will inspire, will motivate, or is enough for now. Right? Because I'm also still trying to understand a whole lot of things that my peers who are already into, who have been into financial freedom ahead of me, you know, are already mastering. Because remember, nature in itself, please listen to this one carefully. Nature in itself doesn't want you to be financially free. That's why the moment you enter a financial freedom space, even government starts coming after you, you know. A whole lot of eyes come to you, so on and so forth, you
That's
know.
real. That's real.
So that's the reason why I'm very careful what I put out there and what I don't put out there, is because I'm also still trying to understand, you know, the laws of my country, what is allowed, what is not allowed, you know, how much of what I've achieved can really be put out there without me being in trouble, you know, because I know not everybody loves to see me being where I am, being what I am or what I have, you know. So I still need to be careful. I still need to check what I do, and so I need to make sure that I don't get myself into trouble at the end of the day, because not everybody's happy to see a black child, you know, becoming financially free at the end of the day. So I mean, I can throw in names of my peers that became successful and they were displaying their success, and 1 year later they were gone simply because somebody was not happy about their success. So as a black child, you can't just put everything out there carelessly. It's a very sensitive subject.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I need your, in summary, your last words to our viewers, to people listening. What would you say to them concerning the network industry, the cryptocurrency market, life in general, and just giving them those positive words?
Okay. First and foremost is something that I got uh, that was once written by somebody, and I've been making it my slogan lately, that your dreams are valid. And why do I always conclude on most of the stuff that I put out there by saying your dreams are valid, is because as a child you are born with um, dreams, goals, and everything that you know. Have you ever seen children? They know, they believe they are Spider-Man, they are Superman. A child believes he's everything. But as the child grows up, you know, the system, the parents, the siblings, everybody reminds that child that you cannot fly. You are not Superman. You are not Spider-Man. You cannot do this. You cannot have this. And then before you know it, all those things that the child believed as that child was growing up, they start losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. So until they get to a point where they don't believe in themselves anymore, that like they did when they were growing up. So when I say to people, your dreams are valid, I'm saying go back to that child that believed I can be this and I can have this, right? Your dreams are valid. Your dreams are valid. You can be anything. You can be whatever you want to be in this life. Whatever that you believe with a deep conviction can become your reality if you just put consistency, commitment, and effort into that. Never give up on your dreams. I told you when we started talking that I had every opportunity to give up on my dreams. But my greatest asset was refusing to give up on my dreams. Some companies Some platforms and opportunities might go wrong, might fail, but stay true to your dreams. Stay consistent to your dreams. You might lose some friends, you might lose some business partners, but never lose your dream, because your dream is what's going to bring everything into reality. The life that you see me living today, the reality that you see that I'm living today, Mr. Mapena, let me tell you, I'm living a debt-free lifestyle. I don't owe anything. All the cars
Awesome.
that I have, I don't own. I don't owe. The properties that I have today, I don't owe. Let me tell you, I have zero debts, because what Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion, promotes is a debt-free crypto lifestyle. I'm telling you, I have no debts. And that has always been my dream, to live a debt-free lifestyle. I don't have any car that I'm paying an installment for. Whatever car that you see me driving, I own it fully. Any property on my name, I own it fully. Some of my properties, I've paid the levies 24 months ahead. My DSTVs are paid 24 months ahead. My Wi-Fi is paid 12 months ahead. So even if you decide to screw me today, I still have no debts.
That's powerful, yeah?
I hear what I'm saying. So what I'm saying to you, everything that is happening to me now started as a dream that I refused to let go of. Not everybody believed in this dream.
Wow.
Not everybody supported this dream, but I was always my number one fan by refusing to give up on me. If everybody else gives up on you, never give up on yourself. I am Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion. Thank you.
Thulani Maphiliba, TheLion, the great, the mentor. We salute you. We salute your presence in this show today. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, King.
Okay. All right. That was Thulani Maphiliba. Thank you so much for being with us till this far. Thank you so much. Till next time. Please do not forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Subscribe Empire Crypto TV on YouTube, so that whenever we've got powerful guests like today's guests, you can always get that notification that we are live. We are live. Thank you so much, guys. Till we meet
That's
again.
the power of blockchain technology. That's the power of cryptocurrency. That's the power of MLM. That's what it can do for you. It can change your life so instantly that it feels like it's a dream and you're about to wake up from that dream. But it will shock you, because the dream keeps on going for days, for weeks, for months, until you realize that no, I'm not dreaming. I'm actually living my dream. Wow. Your last words, please.
Take a chance on yourself. Trust yourself. If you see an opportunity, take it. And you know what? This is the best time on earth right now.